Hello, everybody. This video is a documentary about how Golden Nation started its eventual downfall. But first, before everything else, I'm gonna be sharing my story and my personal role in Golden Nation. Skip back a couple years ago when it wasn't Golden Nation roleplay. It was ACRP. Atlanta City Roleplay. And I joined the server with my good friend. We'll call him Trey. That's not his real name, by the way. We joined this server and joined the staff team because we thought it was chill and we might as well learn some things while we're there. Me and him were both junior moderators. I think he was like a moderator or something. We joined a VC with the founder in it. His name is Neno. We'll get into him later. And Neno proceeded to call my friend, my friend is black, multiple racial slurs and, be overall racist to him. Most notably calling him the N-word hard R multiple times. So, unfortunately, I don't have proof of that ever happening on my PC. The only proof I had was with my friend, or probably on an old hard drive that I've thrown away. So, don't really have any proof of that anymore, so I wasn't able to take action against him at that time. Time skip a couple of years later to when... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Time skip to a couple years later when it was rebranded to Golden Nation Roleplay, and I joined back in the server. I was checking it out and seeing what happened, and I joined the staff team once again. Now, at this point in time, I was on my current account, my last account that I was on, in ACRP, and how to witness all that, was my alternate account. It used to be my main account, but unfortunately, it ended up getting hacked, and a bunch of shit happened to it. So I had to leave that account and start over on my new account, which is now my main account. I was in my main account at this time, and I went to Gold Nation. I was checking it out. I asked around, and I was just role playing because what I was going to do was I was going to try to finesse my way into the staff team and try to get as high of a rank as possible so I can collect as much evidence as possible on Neno and all of his Golden Nation shit. I joined this one VC one day and Jake Golden's in it, right? He, asked me if I wanted to be staff because he saw me around doing, stuff and knowing the server rules. And I was like, sure, but only if I get a high rank. And then he was, informing me about the, high rank interviews that were happening at that time to become an HRI, which is the highest rank you could get, straight from the Civ. And I tried out for those interviews. I passed with flying stars. I got into the staff team as a trial HR. I got trained as a trial HR to an HR. I just became an HRI at that time. For about a week, or maybe a week and a half, I was an HRI, and then I eventually got promoted back up to a, what's it called? They called it staff supervisor. I got promoted there, and then I proceeded to go on RA, and during RA, I did get promoted about four-ish times, 4 to 5 times, all the way up to head management. And that's when I came off RA. I was on RA due to sports reasons in real life. And then I proceeded to, try and gather evidence. I gathered evidence, and at this point in time, it was about a month ago. And, I was in departments also at this time. I, got onto the news team that they had, the official news team. I then got terminated by I'm pretty sure it was BOE, for trolling, which was not true when I was trying to escape a scene which everybody was VDMing each other, like mass VDM, no attention roleplay, all that. And, doing that to each other. And I was trying to escape it, as shown in the clips, literally. And they still, terminated me for that. And then Ethan Golden, which at that time was a Golden, he is not anymore. Now I'll get back into him in a little bit, but he revoked the termination to a demotion, and the highest rank he could give me was staff supervisor. I did get some help from another person, which I will not name, to convince Ethan, but he did help me with that. I got, staff supervisor. I then proceeded to clock in, because I was off RA at this point, over 31 hours, because how it works for us is if there's quota tiers for promo, right? Promo standing for promotion. Tier 1 is 1 hour. Tier 2, not Tier 1, my bad. Tier 1 is not 1 hour. I'm tripping. Tier 1 is about 7 hours for HRs and 5 for, moderators. I'm going to skip the moderator quota because it's a little different than HRs, but HRs and SHRs is all the same. So the HR quota, Tier 1, is 7 hours, which is quite a lot, that's all I'm going to say. And Tier 2 quota was 14 hours, and then 21 hours for Tier 3. Tier 3 was the highest tier of quota you can get. You had to have, a ton of punishments, a ton of quota hours and all that to get Tier 3 quota. I had Tier 3 quota as a staff supervisor, was about to get promoted to junior management back up again, when I proceeded to get unjustly terminated and almost banned over what was a warning for trolling and no attention to roleplay, when at that time I was not trying to, do anything. There was a ton of, guys in a, red car, I'm assuming a part of some, group together, who were continuously ramming into my vehicle, and my vehicle was a different red car than theirs, because they all had, the same shitty Crown Vic, and I was in a SUV. I was trying to escape it, as shown clearly in the clip, and then Chris Golden still decided to terminate me. And then time skip a little bit, I gathered as much evidence as I can, and then I made this video. And that's pretty much the story up to now.
No, I don't know when we're gonna be back up. But just know when we are back up, don't try to come back. For the dumbass people that left.
Bro, anime, bro, state your fucking question. Can we hear you?
Hey, can y'all unlock the chat so these god damn. I got hella DMs.
You're a bot. Shut your bitch ass up, man. Nobody worried about your little ugly ass. You look like a fucking fish farmer, you bitch ass. Go make me a fucking sandwich, Ethan. How about that? You work at Subway, you bitch ass. Go make me a fucking sandwich.
Subway money.
Hello again. So, Neno Golden. This dude is hated by his own community so much that his own community has doxed him and his entire Golden, team so many times to count. On the screen, I'm going to be putting a couple of pictures of, what they sent me, completely uncensored, by the way. Obviously I censored it for the video to, protect their information. But that just shows how much their own community hates them. What do you think about that community meeting?
Honestly, I mean, it was good that Neno called it just to give us what we, give us an update on what we're doing. But the rest of it was just bullshit, honestly.
There is some flaws. Like, for example, I see people daily breaking DOS, and mostly no one really does anything about it. It just flies by. Okay. And that includes, in the shop, you're able to, according to me and another person who got blacklisted, they got blacklisted actually for saying that they sold rinks and a PRC ticket. And then I went into the VC a little later, and they're like, it was in the office VC, and they're like, I was like, why'd you blacklist them? And I was like, and they're like, we don't wanna let PRC know that we're selling rinks. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
What are your thoughts on Neno Golden, Chris Golden, and then Tay Golden and Jay Golden separately? What are your thoughts on them?
I've seen many false bans from them. Just, for example, talking back at Neno, some people get staff blacklisted, which, in my opinion, is not fair because we have regular members just talking back
So,
to
you're
moderators and
saying-
nothing happens.
Yeah, so you're saying that they're just silencing people.
Exactly. It can be sort of power abuse, I guess, in this state.